Hello, today we are going to be talking about Adobe Illustrator 3D effects. I'm going to be focusing on the extrude and bevel options, as well as showing you how to map an object in the drop-down menus in Illustrator. To get into a new document, you always open a new document or by quickly hitting quick keys Command or Control N, depending on if you're using a Mac or PC. With a new document open, you can see the effects at the top of the screen, and you'll go down to 3D and then extrude and bevel. So let's get started. Okay, to get started here with that new document open, the first thing I'm going to do is have my symbols palette open. And what I'm going to do is drop in a vector graphic and change the symbol name, as well as the export type to graphic, and I'm going to hit OK. The reason for this I will show you later. So I'm going to go ahead and put the symbols aside, and I'm going to go to the Tools palette and go to the circle and draw just a really simple circle shape. And with the Move tool, I'm just going to adjust and move it around here, and then go to the 3D effects, Extrude. Now as you can see here, it extruded it to a 50-point depth, and you can change and adjust the positions and the angles of the extrusion, as well as the capping or bevel type. And in this case, I think that we're going to go ahead and just leave it to none. And then I'm going to extrude a little farther on here to give it sort of a more can-like shape. And this is touchy, so just be careful in here. And you can change the surface type underneath the surface palette here. It usually defaults on the plastic shading. And the nice thing about the plastic shading is you can see it really well, but it just depends on what you're trying to design. And it's a good idea to just click around in here and see what options you have, because there are a lot of options in here, so don't be intimidated by the options in here. Just play around with it and look at what you can do. So the surface shading shows you by which direction the light is coming from. And if we click here, you can change with the color picker the type of color that you would like to use on the outside of your extrusion. And just like you normally would use a color picker, you can just drag things around until you get the kind of color that you're looking for. So down here at the bottom you can click on Map Art, and this is where we put the symbol earlier. This is the only place where you can map art or wrap art around your extrusion. So as you can see up here at the top, it shows you one of three. For this extrusion it only has 3 surfaces, but it can have several depending on the shape that you have extruded. So as you can see with the symbol, I added the shape, the logo that I had dropped in the symbols palette earlier, and I'm just kind of moving it around surfaces to see where I want it to map around my piece of artwork here. And it's kind of hard to tell with the preview in here where it's at, but you'll get used to it. Just keep playing with it and you'll see what I mean. So you see, we couldn't really see it in the map preview, but if I move my object around now, I can see where it mapped my piece of artwork at. And I'm just going to adjust my color palette a little bit so we can see what we're doing a little better. And that's mapping and extrude and bevel under 3D effects.